Oh, hello. Welcome to Unheard, Music from the Highlands, a special series celebrating original music from the Highlands of Scotland. I'm Siobhan, and along with Elis Macfadyen, over the course of this series, we'll be meeting the artists who are forging their own path in the music industry. Far from the usual scenes, but no less powerful in their sound and vision. From lockside bedrooms to village halls turned studios, these are the stories of musicians creating on the edge, pushing boundaries, blending influences, and staying true to their roots. This series is about more than just music. It's about place, perseverance, and the voices rising from the hills. This is Unheard. So we're recording. We're on test episode or pilot episode of Unheard, that Highland series of Unheard.
Which is unheard yet.
It's Unheard, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm Siobhan, and I'm an Irish woman living in the Highlands. What would I say? I'd be kind of a wishful or hopeful singer-songwriter.
No, practicing singer-songwriter.
A practicing novice.
No, there's no novice about it. You're a songwriter if you write a song. You start to think about it, that's it.
Right, okay. That's the mindset then, Elis.
You're a singer-songwriter. You're in there.
Okay, well, and then this is Elis Macfadyen.
Macfadyen, yeah.
Macfadyen.
Spelled D-Y-E-N, it's Japanese spelling.
I like myself, the N-E-Y. We've anglicised our wonderful Celtic names.
Yes, so You're from Ireland, west coast of Ireland, I'm from the west coast of Scotland.
Yes, and we're both stranded here on the east side of the Highlands.
Yes, and we're following up ideas on music promotion and how music's going these days.
Yeah, so Elis, I hope you don't mind me saying, but you're a bit senior to me. You've been on this planet a bit longer.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. And so for somebody who's of a spring chicken like myself.
A spring chicken, come on.
I'm spring chicken. I need to draw from your experiences in the musical realm, and I think that's one of the reasons why we came up with this idea to draw from Elis's experience.
Beautiful scenes of farmyards now.
Oh gosh, well it came about because I've known Elis, and I'm lucky to know Elis, and I know his lovely wife as well, Fiona. So I've been kind of drawing from his experiences on recording albums. I think I'm a performer by nature, but Elis is an astute, an accomplished singer-songwriter who is recording. So one thing that had come about recently was that Elis, who's just launched his third album, which is True Hearts and Travel Tales, he is producing these recordings and promoting them via CDs. So we are living in a world where everything is being streamed online, and we just wondered how other people are experiencing it. And I think that's just the first part of our stories, really, to try and understand what are the next steps in the music industry.
Yeah, because you hear various stories from people who some are managing it, but I think it's just the very big boys that have the income streams. Mm-hmm. Some of us who are relying on managing to sell a few CDs or do a few gigs to promote your work, that's kind of died a death just recently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to investigate other ways of bringing in some revenue for the work that you're doing, and the money it costs still costs the same to produce CDs and things, but you're not getting to sell them. So we'll have to find other ways of increasing the revenue to balance that.
Yeah, and I was having to think about this because when I was younger, we used to go to the local CD shops. So there was maybe 2 or 3 CD shops in the local small town. And I believe now the HMV stores, which are the bigger chain, are all closing.
Right.
Maybe they're not all, that's maybe a sweeping statement. We still have one in Inverness. But people are still interested in buying CDs. So if you go to secondhand shops or charity shops, which are my favourite venue outside of the pub, there's plenty of CDs being brought in and being bought, which was my experience. But then CDs have started to lose their space in the car, which was a great place to listen to CDs. Your new MacBook Airs don't have any space for CDs to be played. So CDs, even though they were brilliant, don't have a home to be played on, whereas vinyl are starting to take shape again.
Yeah, I've heard stories about the vinyl as well. There's some people reckon the vinyl in some cases, can't say it all, but some cases certainly it's a digital version, so like a CD digital treatment put onto vinyl. It's not an analog as you would expect or hope it would be for vinyl, an analog treatment. So some of them are and some aren't, I'm led to believe.
That's interesting, because I did wonder how they're producing them so quickly when you look at the old-fashioned way of doing it.
Yeah, we need to find out more about that
Yeah.
as to how it goes on, but certainly it's another route for people producing music. As you say, there's some people doing it onto vinyl, and even I believe in America there's a lot of cassette tapes have come back into fashion.
But they were never very good quality.
I know, but they're quick disposable and they're actually
maybe easier,
rising.
cheaper to make. Yeah, God, but they're easily recorded over.
Yeah.
I did manage it. I had a Celine Dion's cassette tape with the tape over the top bit.
Aye.
And then, half of it was Celine Dion, half of it was Long Wave Radio Atlantic 252. We had a lot of that going on.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. So I wouldn't be in a hurry to see tapes coming back, Elis. But
depends how they were manufactured, how disposable they were, and if it's handy for people, but it was a bit clunky. It really was.
Yeah, so CDs, and of course I was of an age, so going back to our age differences, where we started getting MP3 players. Elis's face just dropped there, like, what are you insinuating?
I'm trying to imagine this vast chasm of age difference between two people sitting in the same studio. Yeah.
It's ageism at its best here, isn't it?
Well, I'm forgetting half of what I was thinking.
Well, that's actually one of your tracks in True Hearts and Travel Tales. So and we need to talk about that, because that's a brilliant song. But yes, I started listening to music through MP3. So you plug in your USB into a computer and then you start downloading, and it would take forever and all that. Very slow process. But you'd have your dedicated playlists, if you will, on these MP3 players. And just even moving to the next generation, where my kids, I realise they don't have access to curating their own playlists. They do on Spotify, but they have to use a phone to listen to it. So I bought them a really cool thing actually called a Mighty player, it's like an iPod Nano when they came out, those little square things. So they now have these offline, little music players that they can listen to, and it's great. But you still need, that's all streamed and it's all gone back to Spotify, which we were touching on before we recorded. That Spotify just basically hold the power of access to music almost, in a way. That and YouTube Music, Apple Music wouldn't be on my radar, but I know that Spotify and YouTube Music are just, they're holding it all. So if you're not on Spotify, and this goes back to the core of how do we get people's music out there, if you're not on Spotify, you may go completely unheard. And as a Highland based musician or singer-songwriter, are we trying to aim to be global, or are we actually trying to get our names out there locally and be heard by local ears, by people who want to have us play in the pubs or have gigs or whatever it might be? How do we attract people to our music?
Yeah, that's the way we were discussing it, is to see if we can find out ways for local musicians coming into music from school or whatever could see other venues and ways of doing things. It just needs a bit of investigation, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing as well, just to kind of mention on, I think it's radio, because radio, when we were growing up, we're always playing local musicians.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to a lady, Marie Griffin, I think her name was, and she was based in the West Clare, and it was our local West Clare radio. We're playing, well, actually our Clare FM radio, we're playing these tracks, and they might have been, a couple of shows throughout the week, but you got very familiar with local musicians, and I always wanted to be like her, because she was playing, accessible music and country western music or whatever. And we don't really have that anymore. We don't have radio playing local musicians, and we need to actually have a look at the Highland radio. I think James Martin presents on that.
Yeah, there's various local radio stations.
Yeah, because they're all now on FM and everything has gone digital.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have, again, it's just not in the background to daily living. So yes, so that's all very interesting. So,
Plenty.
Elis, let's speak about your recording journeys, if you don't mind. Mine is very, I have a very minimal recording experience, so I want to really understand the work that went on, because I was listening to your albums, or your EP and then your 2 albums over the last week or so, and the EP, your 4-track recording, is much rawer than your latest production, and the latest production is beautifully, the musical talents are just streaming through it, and it's so different in my mind. Did you think it was different?
Well, each of the albums, each of the CDs has been produced by a different person.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a case of...
yeah. So Argyle.
The very first one, My Home in Argyle, that was Mark Clement who produced that one.
Oh yeah, okay. And he's a local, so he's based up here as well, isn't he?
Based in Inverness, yeah. He's a very clever musician.
Yeah.
And he did a smashing job of that. And then the second one was Steve Bull, who produced that one. And then the third one was Isaac Sutherland.
Oh, right.
So all coming from different directions,
Yeah.
but all very capable musicians and music producers. And so that would affect the overall sound, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they are, all 3 of them are different.
Apart from the songs being different in different time,
Yeah, so I suppose that was another thing to kind of wonder about. The first ones had you had them in reserve for quite a while and you were wanting to get them, or how did this work?
It was a kind of an experiment. I wanted to get something recorded to see what the process was, get something out there. And the 4 songs weren't picked as a kind of a theme, like the last 2 albums were themed. These were just 4 random songs that I wanted to hear how they went. I thought they were slightly different styles, and I left them to Mark to produce as he thought fit. But it was a case of getting something out there to say to people, this is what I'm doing and what I want to do, and to see who's available to help me move on to the next stage.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how it started from. It's a kind of this is where we are.
Yeah, okay. So I think in my mind, growing up and listening to people's first albums or EPs, sometimes they were all of this reserve of things that they've been dying to get out there and everything else, and then it was always that cursed second album, if you will. But having listened to then your second album, which you're saying is produced by Steve Bull, it's Dreamers and Journeys, and it is beautiful, and you can feel the description of Dreamers and Journeys is going through that whole flow of that album. It's so it's amazing, and well, obviously that was intentional in a way. It must have been, because
indeed. Well, that was very much the idea, a themed album. Some of the songs that I had were to do with dreams and others with journeys, and the idea came, well, let's continue this. In fact, one of the songs was actually written halfway through recording the album.
Oh, right.
I wanted something else to do with dreams, and I came up with one of the songs.
I think I can pick that out. Is that Dreamers Only Live for the Dreaming?
Yes, that's the one.
No, because when I was listening to it, I think there was something a little bit different with it, but it was beautifully placed. So it's a 13-track album. The beginning is the first track is Life's a Journey, and it ends with Bookended The Journey. And you can just feel that it's the ebbs and flow throughout the whole, I'm just even looking at the titles now, throughout the whole album. I mean, you've got Dreams in the title of track 4, then you've got 7 is the Dreamers Only Live for the Dreaming, and then track 10 is Dreams of Lochaber, and it's just very clever.
It's basically just a vagabond.
Oh, that's fabulous! I love it. I think it's an artistic dream, if you will.
It is.
But you've also got the track from your is it your grandfather, your father?
My father.
Your father singing Kirk Connell Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just gorgeous putting that in there. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, Dad was very famous local circles for his singing. He had a smashing tenor voice, obviously evident with that song. And he was the one that was in great demand, all the local ceilidhs and things. And everybody used to squash it and to hear Innes sing.
Yeah.
It was an experience. And parties at home, New Year, he would play the piano and sing. And everybody was round the house.
Yeah.
Grand occasions. So yeah, very proud of the heritage, if you like.
Absolutely. Yeah, but because you've attributed the reason for this album being made is because of him, or the reason why you're here is because of your dad. But I mean, were you part of that singing when he would be singing? Would you be brought in that, or?
No. I was only 7 when he died.
Right.
I was the oldest of the 4 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's mum at 28 with 4 kids to look after.
Okay, we're back. Hi, Elis. Elis just had a phone call, so we got interrupted. That's okay.
Apologies for that.
No, not at all. But the nature of the recording. But no, we were speaking about your dad and his music, and potentially, I suppose what I was getting at was, were you part of the singing when he was singing, or when he was invited to things? So you were explaining that.
No, I was just too young at the time to be involved in that. But I understand he did a lot with other folk in the area, various instruments and things. But I had no connection with that. It was years later, I think it was 14 when I picked the guitar up.
Yeah.
And music teacher at school, Sally Ann McBride, from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, she
gosh.
was wonderful.
Oh.
Taught us a few chords and just strummed the bits and pieces since then.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's amazing. What was she doing?
I don't know. I sometimes wonder. Portland, Oregon. She was very proud of it too.
And was she talented, or was she just a really good teacher? I suppose, because there's two differences there, isn't there? Well, there's a significant difference.
Well, she appeared to be very talented at playing the guitar to us.
Yeah.
We were learning, certainly.
Yeah.
But why she was in Lochaber, I really don't know. Instead of Portland, Oregon.
My goodness. So when you were 14 and you were in high school and picking up the guitar with Mrs. McBride, was there much of a music scene at that point in Lochaber?
No, well, it's very funny. We were only 12 miles away from the school to our home, but once you got off that school bus, there was no extracurricular activities. You didn't get round about the school to do stuff. We lost out on sport and music and all sorts because we just couldn't afford to travel.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything extra at night. So it was a case of listening to radio. That was about the size of it.
Yeah.
Radio Luxembourg, and doing whatever you took your fancy then.
To an Irish woman, that sounds very exotic. So listening to Radio Luxembourg. I have no idea what that is. What's Radio Luxembourg?
Robert Bruce maybe knows. but certainly it's that was you talked about Atlantic 252. I mean,
okay, that was your Atlantic 252.
Yeah. So listening to music give you ideas, and it must have been something in me, I suppose, that made me want to carry on. And here we are now. I've done more in the last 10, 15 years than I've done in the huge expanse of time before that.
That's loads of time. All those decades.
I've spent most of my life travelling around and working at this, that and whatever, and thinking that I had to be doing an engineering type job, because that's what you did. You got a proper job and you worked, and the music was just a kind of a hobby. But now I'm thinking I wish I'd just stuck to music instead.
Yeah.
I might have done a lot more. I had opportunities certainly over the years, but they were put aside to carry on with the main job.
I know. And again, there's themes in your new album around that kind of what the world is now, and I suppose being a conformist, and where has it gotten us to anyway? So I mean, it's interesting, and the regrets that, I suppose they're not regrets, they're not heavy regrets, because you met Fiona. Your path would have been very different possibly, and you may not have met Fiona. So I suppose you're at
This is tending to wander from a discussion on music to a complete psychoanalysis.
It is not, Elis. It's good to understand what took you to that point. So I think it's nice that you are where you are now. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Because I mean, there's lovely songs in your albums that are, I assume they're about Fiona. And,
indeed,
had you not met her, you wouldn't have had those songs. That's what I'm trying to put across,
Yeah, indeed. The whole thing, I don't know, you have to be inventive and imaginative when you're doing music, when you're writing songs, and you need to get allowed yourself to get taken away from reality, from where you are, if you like. You need to open your mind, broaden your horizons, just to see what your possibilities are. You're writing the song, you take all sorts of things into consideration. Some of the songs deal with numerous different personalities and situations, but it's only me who knows that.
Yeah.
And some of them are completely contrived, and some are historical, some are never happened at all.
Yes, yeah.
You know, but you just mix them all up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a kind of a license, if you like,
Yeah,
but at the same
absolutely.
time,
It's like it's the artist who paints the beautiful picture, but actually that beautiful picture may not have been that. So it's your interpretation of.
Yeah, and even the title "Dreamers and Journeys," it's an ethereal journey into your mind, into imagination.
Yeah.
You know, there's facts, there's real life personalities come up and are props in the story, but the story is an imagination, a recitation of an imagination. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's
on those
great.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds a bit airy-fairy, but
Well,
you have to think on these lines.
An expert in that.
In your short life.
Oh, in my short life.
Geez.
Thanks, yeah.
I guess I'd remind you. But in all my experience, yes. But no, it's really good fun as well. It's a job to some people.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just an amateur songwriter, musician. It's not the main job, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a nice segue into, we had spoken about this before as well, in my podcast expertise, because I listen to them.
That's right.
And I was listening to Annie Mac and Nick Grimshaw's Sidetracked, and it's fascinating because they are experts in the music industry, kind of on the peripheries. They make music. Annie Mac makes music and stuff. Nick Grimshaw is just an observer. He's very, very good at picking it apart. And they were speaking about, Nick Grimshaw was speaking about his friend, very close friend, who is a professional musician, singer-songwriter, who's having to give it up because they can't sustain life as a full-time singer-songwriter. And I think, again, this kind of goes into my curiosities and the wider curiosities of Highland-based musicians. How can they survive if their true dream is to do what you're illustrating, you know, this kind of bringing about an interpretation of life or their artistic representation of their experiences? How can they live off that? And it seems like a very difficult task.
It certainly does. I don't think there's any easy answers. We've got lots of people to speak to find out their views and how they're coping or how they're not going to cope, how they can't foresee a way forward. But there's always a way forward, and there'll be somebody out there that has some of the answers.
Yeah.
And if we collaboratively speak to those that are positive, determined to get their message and their music out there, we'll come up with ways to help others, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That are wanting to develop their music. Somebody that's leaving high school, college, and really wants to do a lot with their art, that there's got to be other ways that haven't been investigated yet that they can follow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so in Inverness or in Highlands, we're missing our crucial venue. So Inverness Ironworks music venue is now no longer there. And just, you know, we've got the Rigmore Motel is a venue which possibly could step in. There's always going to be venues that can step in instead. But what I've seen a pattern over the last couple of months to years since the Ironworks has been talked about closing is that pubs are stepping in and putting on lots of music 7 nights a week. So our very hard-working musician friends who perform but aren't necessarily recording and promoting their music are working 7 nights a week continuously for the whole tour season and stuff. And Inverness seems to be a really thriving music city, but it's condensed into there. And so innovative people like Duncan Chisholm, I was going to tongue twist, and Hamish Napier have been going out to the local communities and going to community halls to play. You have the guys at Nightworks do the same. They're based over in Skye, and they're bigger names that have done that. And I think that's kind of a curiosity for me as well, because you mentioned earlier, you know, that maybe the older approach of gigging and selling your CDs, performing and selling your CDs went hand in hand, and that has stopped.
That's right, yeah. And I'm seeing aspects are that some of the people that are fairly successful in music already are adopting more and more social media tactics. They're really pushing social media, big style, a month or two prior to their latest album coming out, and so that's the way for them to be noticed, and they're successful. But it's not so easy for somebody that's in the local Highland community that doesn't have the resources to do that, and so they're...
Or maybe the savvy, because it's actually about being quite savvy on social media.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's a knack to it.
I mean, all of that's so important.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Do you think that would mean that those that were savvy in the local Highland community would manage better than the bigger acts?
I don't know the answer to that. I do know that there are people who are world famous on TikTok that are based in the Highlands, but I've never seen them perform live, or I've only seen them perform once or twice live. Right. So they're not, would you say, the grafters? And I'm not saying that they don't work hard on their social media side, you know, but the grafters of lugging themselves in and out to all these venues night on night. There's a guy inside in town, Callum Jones. He is a phenomenal singer and a singer-songwriter. Oh, he's brilliant. Now he grafts, you know, but I could see how, because he's one of the youngest performers in town at the moment, I could see how he has a lot on his shoulders to do that. Where is he going to get time or resource to actually do the recordings and get them out? And maybe he is getting them all online.
Maybe he's managing that. I remember Callum, I think he was 17 the first time I saw him. We were both on a bill of a folk thing that Rob Ellen was doing.
Oh, yeah.
In Hootenannies. And he was just this young laddie, and you could tell straight away he was the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful voice, guitar styles.
Yeah.
Just lived it.
Yep.
So that's the sort of person that needs to be brought on and encouraged.
Yeah, but that's it, you know, it's the local talent development.
Yeah.
He's possibly done all that on his own, and I just wonder, where is he going to glean to get himself out there and past Inverness, and has he any interest in that? We maybe need to explore that with him.
Yeah.
And ask him.
Maybe it's a kind of a natural cycle where only the very real talent survives.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who would like to do this, maybe won't, and have to be accepting of where they are in the field.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It is. Yeah, it is difficult. It is very difficult. But yes, so I suppose we wanted to have a showcase then in our podcast format to be able to play some of the songs from your latest album, not just Elis's, but obviously whoever is our featured artist. So we're going, what song would you like to introduce us into from your latest album of True Hearts and Travel Tales?
Well, it's a kind of an amalgam that goes everything from, is it Sunday Today, was dealing with the dementia.
Yeah.
And my poor mum is 94, 95 this year, and she suffers greatly with dementia. She's in a care home in Inverness.
Right.
So that's one song that's really quite pertinent, and it's the only song I think on the album that's just me and the guitar.
Yeah.
And others are a full rock band.
Yes, so, But you can pick up, just to kind of be analytical about the song, it's absolutely perfectly composed, sung and delivered, you know, because it is quite gentle, and the words are very clear, it's all very distinct, and you get the message from that. So
certainly that is the real message. That's the song that I would like to start from.
Okay, let's showcase that now. Okay.
I can't quite recall most things at all. My thoughts, they get jumbled and muddled around. Nothing is clear, forgotten I fear. Alone in my head, not seeing or found. Tell me, what is this? Is it Sunday today? I can't quite what day is this? Is it Sunday today? When I was young, that was a time I always remembered and never forgot. But now I am older and frail in the hand, never knowing what is and doubting what's not. Tell me, what day is this? Is it Sunday today? I can't quite remember, it's so hard to say. I'm sure that it is, but maybe no way. Tell me, what day is this? Is it Sunday today?
So that track you'd explained beforehand around maybe the inspiration for that, and then it has led us to have a wee chat about, your hope for the listeners' interpretations of your music or any tracks, and it's kind of led me to kind of wonder, is that what you do? So when you're listening to another local musician's pieces, that you're not needing the background to how they got the track, but you're actually listening to it and you're bringing your own interpretation into it as a listener.
I think, well, maybe it's just me, but I think everybody probably interprets what they're listening and imagines it about them or not about them, depending on the nature of the song.
Yeah.
You're looking for a personal involvement in it to become part of it and accept it and bring it into your new experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a song that really tickles you, you're looking for ways that it's following your train of thought, and I think you're looking for similarities between your lifestyle and the hero of this song or whatever. It's just as a way of absorbing more about it and understanding it.
Yeah,
it's difficult when I write a song and I record it and it's out there. I don't imagine somebody listening to it and seeing what I saw when I was writing it. I think somebody listening to that is going to think something completely different, maybe way off track, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Once it's recorded and down there, that belongs to the listener. It's not
That's
mine
lovely.
anymore.
Yeah. I think completely the opposite to you.
All right. Oh well.
But it's interesting because I would never have known that there was another way to think about it, and maybe that's why I'd be a bit more, uptight about how I perform or provide the music, because I'm trying to get somebody to think like as I was thinking. So that's very interesting.
It again depends on the subject,
Yeah.
If it was a very serious subject, maybe you want them to wander too far off where you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
But most of these are imaginative things, and you can go whatever direction you want to.
Yeah. Well, you've got your this track here. It was Established Criminality.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you are trying to get people to be aware. I think you are speaking to the listener and wanting them to be aware. So do you want to talk about that track? Because that's a brilliant track. Yeah.
Well, it is particularly political.
Yeah.
I suppose it's meant to make people stand up. I mean, we're very amenable to being manoeuvred whatever direction the government and authorities want us to.
Mm-hmm.
They have control of the purse strings and everything else, and we do believe everything they're telling us in the telly and the radio, subconsciously or not.
Yeah.
So it's nice to think about it in an irreverent way and say that I can see through this.
Yeah.
And we should all see through this a bit more and question everything that we're being told. And that song is a kind of a call to arms, if you like. It's serious in the nature of the message it's putting across, how authority is abusing their position in so many ways. And the song was written with a melody, kind of a chorus line, if you like, a middle eight that comes in as a contrast to the serious message. You've got this frivolous of carousel type
Yes,
music.
kind of a sinister, yes.
Yeah, it breaks
yeah,
it up, and
yeah.
you think, well, where's that come from? But that's a kind of a contrast to make you concentrate on the message, the serious message of abuse, which was happening. And that's where the idea for the song came from.
But it's very effective, I have to say. You know, definitely caught my full attention listening to that. So, yeah, we'll maybe just have a wee listen to that.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing else matters, just cook the books. With cash you can buy anything that you choose. But all I see is an increase in crooks. Your kings and nobles and knights are all false. All the politicians, whatever they say, the corporate criminals and media moguls, they all play this game every day. Don't vote them in, don't pay what they want, obstruct their activities whenever they try. Don't let them take whatever they choose, restrict their movement and they will thrive.
Great, yeah, super. We were at an open mic last night, me and Elis.
Grand night.
It was a good night. And Elis was performing one of his tracks and was saying, sorry, I hope this isn't too political.
Yes.
And I thought that was so funny because I thought, well, you shouldn't apologise for your message, but you feel sometimes potentially that you do need to be mindful. You're so, because Elis is such a polite man and a gentleman, so the idea that you don't want to offend anyone, but you're right.
Well, maybe, perhaps I was being cheeky. Perhaps it was a case of I'm telling the manager, if this is too political, you can throw me out, so that he was going to be paying attention to the song.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And maybe
yeah.
others thought the same. I thought, oh, what's he going to come up with
Yeah,
here?
that's true. Well, actually, that's true.
So maybe a bit devious
Oh, well, yeah, I pick up on it now. We know now.
there. I won't do that one again then, yeah.
Yeah, it worked. Definitely
But
did.
no, it's you need to explain a wee bit about what you're going to do without telling somebody what the song's about. I think if you can look vulnerable or interested or in some way threatening or something that's going to catch the attention, particularly if you appear vulnerable at the start of the song, the audience are more likely to be with you and listen to what you're saying. And if they're expecting something to happen because you've warned them it's going to be a political message, or too political, then they're waiting for something to happen. And you want people to listen to it and hear it so that they do follow your train of thought.
Yeah.
You don't want it to just be a background music.
I know.
There's places for background music, but if it's a concert scenario, you want them to get the message. Otherwise, you could just be a jukebox.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it depends on the way you look at it. Yeah.
Yes. No, but it's useful. It's good to know, and I'll learn from that, I think, because I just think I try and make a joke of lots of things just so that I don't feel, I think it's almost to play down how important it is for myself. So when I'm performing, it does take a lot of courage. I'm getting used to it now, doing open mics with my own music. I could sing anyone else's cover and never be bothered. But if I'm going to sing something that's my own, I feel a lot more pressure.
Indeed, yeah. When you first start singing your own songs in public, it's a big step. It really is, because you're immeasurably conscious that people are judging you on everything you do, every note, every word, and it can affect your whole performance.
Absolutely.
But that obviously just would come with experience,
Yeah.
But you need to regard the song as one of your other songs. If you're perfectly relaxed when you're doing one of your cover songs, you should be just as relaxed when you're doing your own.
Yes.
It's another song. There's anything else about it. It's personal. You wrote it, but it's another song. It's part of your catalogue.
Yeah. Well, hearing what you've said about how it belongs to the listener, then it's you told me not to psychoanalyse, but for me that's very important, because there's some in some, whatever room in your mind, you're worried about what other people think of what you think of a situation that you've put on paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, isn't it? And it actually doesn't make much sense, because that's their own business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's possibly, I was in a songwriting course I did once with Boo Hewardine, and he mentioned that once a song's written, that's it, it's out there. It's not your baby as such, it's out there for somebody to listen to. And if somebody comes up to you and says, I'd like to record your song, you shouldn't be thinking, oh, I don't know what you're going to do with my song. You should be saying, it doesn't matter, I wrote that as a country song, and you're a heavy rap star. You're going to do it in your own particular style. What he was saying to us is basically, allow that to happen. Let it flow. Why should you be so precious that your song is interpreted a different way? It's still your song, and you're going to get the right and credits for that song.
Well, that's funny, because I did the original version of a track. So I created a version of a track, that's famous, a blues track, and I got one very negative comment on Facebook.
Right.
So nobody that I played it to has commented negatively on it at all, but this one person on Facebook, who's anonymous, was annoyed, spitting fire, that I was plagiarising. But I didn't plagiarise, as in I thought, I understood it sounds very similar to that original track, but it's completely new words and new interpretation of it.
But you also recognised the fact that it was based on a song,
it's
and you
based
mentioned
who
wrote it. So I don't think that's necessarily plagiarism. Maybe we should look into it.
Well, I think that's something I'd be interested to hear about, is, how do people navigate, because there's only so many interpretations of chords that you can play before they start to sound like something else. And if I listen to a lot of Joni Mitchell, which I do, or if I listen to your tracks over and over, there'll be part of the rhythms, the melodies that start to seep through. You can't help it, that's how you get influenced. So it's wondering how original is an original track, and can we not use inspiration from other tracks to form this new,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just don't know. You could be sitting writing a song and think, this is really great, and you had a few hours writing the song, changing melodies, changing chords, and you finish and you think, I'm really pleased with this new song. And you play it to somebody and say, oh, that sounds a bit like such and such. And you start panicking and think, does it? And there could be similarities, but it's quite often that's happened, and you think, no, it's a completely different song. And the way it's been done, the type of music, the chords, the structure, it's not that song anymore. You're bound to get, as you quite rightly say, the odd phrase and here and there, and chord changes and that are the same as something else, but that doesn't make it that song.
No, it doesn't. And a local singer-songwriter was saying to me, people could say that all his songs sound like Bob Dylan, but all of Bob Dylan's songs sounded like traditional Irish music. And Cerys Matthews covered this before. His influences were the Clancy brothers.
Right.
Yeah,
indeed. Yeah.
So I just don't know, where do we stop the line in, accusing people of plagiarism. Actually, they're not saying, I've painted this Picasso. They have painted a different painting, but it might look like a Picasso.
Exactly.
And I think but there's such judgment. There is a lot of judgment in the music industry, and you need to the pressure I put on myself is almost that I need to create something completely brand new and totally out there and totally this. And I probably never will. So to have that expectation ends up that everything else isn't meeting the standard.
No, I think you can't worry about that too much. You need to be conscious that you could be just plagiarising something, but where do you stop? I mean, AI, artificial intelligence, now that's a minefield. That really is plagiarism.
That's right, yeah.
You're wanting a computer to write a song for you or to paint a picture for you. That's definitely straying away from the ideals that we would like to get, the purity that we're seeking.
That's it. It's just hilarious, So I find it all very interesting, and I mean, I have definitely, since meeting you and getting to know you, and Jim Kennedy, and then going to the Glackbeg Folk Club and going to more open mics, hearing people's music actually that's the best exposure to start to go, oh, I wonder, you know, I like how they did that, and I wonder could I do that with my track. Whereas before I would have written something and left it and that was it, and I never touched it again. Now I actually go back and I revisit and look at the words. And I think that's part of the beauty of the Highland music scene, because we do have a really good music scene for open mics.
Indeed, yeah.
We're talking about we're absolutely spoiled for choice for open mics.
Indeed, now we'll go and start another one.
Yeah, we started another one. We've got literally, I think there's one every night of the week potentially.
Just about, aye, yeah.
So that's fabulous. You know, if you wanted to just start to dip your toe into, I'm going to try this song here this night and see how that crowd likes it versus that crowd, and you know, maybe if I rejig it. And
be interesting to look at the open mics as well, and the ages of all the participants. Yeah, because some of them
he's got a smirk on his face saying this.
Some of them aren't
with his ageist Irish friend here.
But some of them aren't nearly as youthful as present company. And so
Thank you.
I'm very conscious there's not many youngsters coming through to the open mics. Is it necessarily the open mics are there for the entertainment and the benefit of perhaps the older population? Why is that? Are the younger ones getting all their music from their Spotify, TikTok, wherever else?
I think that they're going
is there
online.
Any crossovers?
So I, as a performer, I mean, I love performing. So I could be performing till the cows come home. So online performing doesn't work for me because I don't get that feedback that I need. And whereas some people who would be shy, and maybe the open mic would be really good for them because it would build their confidence, they're getting their confidence from the online audience, anonymous audience. It's probably a lot easier because you're throwing it out into the ether there, and you're not, you know, you can record, you can re-record, you can edit all before you put it out there. Whereas open mic is mistakes happen. You might have bum noted something, you might have just gotten your mouth gone dry and everything's gone wrong, and so
it is an exposure that's necessary for those that are wanting to pursue that lifestyle. Or it may just be a songwriter. You're not worried about how you sound on your guitar because you're wanting the song message to get across there. But usually it's a combination of everything. You want it to sound as good as you can to get that message out so people will listen to it and then tell their friends they heard this, and more people like it. It's a vanity project. Major vanity project.
Well, it is, to be honest. I can completely agree with that. Yeah, I think both are. So, you know, your online and the live in-person open mics are. Therefore are, but there's nothing wrong with that either. No, that's not a negative. But I'm just wondering, you know, to address maybe that need people have for being online, and when we were starting our inaugural open mic night last night of a follow-on of the Love It open mic sessions, I was thinking about, you know, should we live stream it? Because Dougie Burns, Elis' really good friend, Dougie did live streaming of open mic nights through lockdown, which were amazing. They were an absolute godsend.
I think Mark Forbes did something similar as well. When he had the Love It ones,
Yes, yeah. And I just wonder, could you do a hybrid where there then feels like that kind of wider space and wider attention that people want for their music exposure to try to get younger people to come along? You know, or is it the aftermath like I've done today where I've taken people's videos and put them up as part of that open mic session?
It's all a part of the exposure of the artist, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need to expose yourself to the outside world to get people to see it, to promote your art.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what your art is. I mean, I was saying it's a vanity project. It is to a certain extent, but what was going through the mind of the earliest oil painters, you know, 1500s, you know, when they were getting going, when they were starting splashing paint about, why were they doing that?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't just doing it so they could look at it and say, that's all right, hang it on the toilet wall. They wanted everybody to see it. Get the message out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a case of, I'm losing the track here where you were going.
No, but that's okay. I know. I think
you.
No. But I think what we were saying was to try to the exposure, the different generations and their want for exposure. Open mics might have a different draw of a crowd, but there, you know, it could be adjusted to try to bring the younger crowd there. But at Glackbeg, there's a fine variety of people, and it's only growing in popularity. And so
It's just limited. It's only
Yeah.
an hour or so once a month.
Yes.
You know, and if you miss the list, you don't get on that list to play.
No, I know.
Then that's you for another month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're itching to play that song that you just
Right.
just had happened to me the last time. I was like so excited.
I know.
But I managed to play it the following Thursday. We were going to say other things there, but our battery just got cut off.
Batteries died a
The
day.
battery died. Yeah, so I think, well, what I'll say now, Elis, is we need to wrap this up because I'm going to go to a gig in the Muirvord Distillery this afternoon.
Oh.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Just another kind of a thing around the new venues of music that we're seeing in the Highlands, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
There had been a brilliant music set happening in the Elis distillery in town, and that's taken a pause for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But Muirvord Distillery are still having these sessions, and this is the first one I'm going to, so we're going to that. We may end up taking our podcast on tour there sometime.
Oh,
In the
the
future.
distillery.
To the distillery.
Oh, here, is that a good idea?
Well, you can drink the whiskey
Right, and you do the talking.
and I'll do the talking.
It sounds like we're fit for something we're both good at.
Oh, fact. Because I can't drink whiskey.
All right.
Yeah. Wish I could, but I can't. Yeah. So thanks, Elis. Do you want to just play us out then in one last track as we say goodbye on our first podcast session?
Yeah, but a nice wee song called West Highland Line.
Nice.
How's
I
that?
love this song.
We'll go for that one.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll enjoy and use all the visuals of Harry Potter as you finish
Indeed.
listening.
You're heading from Fort William to Malek on the coast. There's always time to listen to the message in your chest. Your head, it shows the journey, but your heart wants it most. To travel on the steam train to the sunset in the west. We leave the town behind us, Ben Nevis does impress. It feels good to be moving on the railway once again. The Jacobite, it now becomes the Hogwarts Express. Over the viaduct, Harry Potter took to fame. And there's nothing quite so fine to satisfy the mind as being on the railway of the West Highland Line.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Unheard, Music from the Highlands. If you enjoyed the music and stories today, be sure to check out the featured artist. You'll find links to their work in the show notes, along with more from the growing community of original musicians across the Highlands. For playlists, bonus content and updates on future episodes, head over to our website, and don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep supporting local music and local music venues, and keep listening to the sounds arising from the hills. Take care. Catch you later.